Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms! And I would like to welcome all of you back here to the channel right here on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. And of course, the most infamous figure in the wrestling community. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lightning Flash update for May 10th, 2019. No news, rumors, and reports today. No weekly show reviews today. I apologize. I am not doing the weekly show reviews for all 5 of the shows because I am physically exhausted from finals. We have peaked 900 subscribers. We are at 920, I believe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and today is a very special news, rumors, and reports edition of the Lightning Flash update because I am not here alone. Unfortunately, one of my guests' Twitter handle did get suspended. I was supposed to go on with a new up-and-coming YouTuber named your boy Chris, but unfortunately, due to his account getting suspended, he had to take care of that. He has other issues to take care of. He was not able to make it, but I have someone above and beyond the rest, someone who once recently appeared on my channel back in February. You may, not February actually, March. You may remember him for the rundown for WWE Fastlane. He is one of the most intelligent minds in the wrestling community, so much so that he calls himself the walking, talking wrestling dictionary on the planet. Please help me welcome to the channel once again, Mr. Earl Cole. How you doing, Earl Cole?
Well, TJ Storm, that was just absolutely fabulous. And happy Friday to you. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all of you out there and all the mothers out there. As we are getting ready for Money in the Bank, we are just a shade over a week away. A shade. And this is going to be a fun experience for me because this is not the first time DJ Storm and I have collaborated. This is the second time, and on the third time, he's coming on my show. He's going to be coming on my show, ladies and gentlemen, because as you all know, I have my show each and every Tuesday. Each and every Tuesday, it's called Get in the Ring. But this special event that's happening will be happening on the 17th of May. It is the conversation and prediction show for Money in the Bank. DJ Storm is one of the most brilliant minds I could have ever picked to be a host on my show. We are going to bust down everything that you need to know about Money in the Bank. We will have our thoughts, our analysts, and we are going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a big conversation. I hope you all tune in. Get ready, buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride, I guarantee you. And I am honored to be here today on Mother's Day weekend with the one and only, the man who is the legit boss. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the legit boss.
You damn right.
He's a legit boss. He's highly entertaining. I have tons of respect for him. He knows the wrestling world, and it's a great brain to pick. So, DJ Storms, I thank you most humbly, and I thank you very much, and I'm here for you today.
This is why I have him on my show. This is exactly why I have him on my show and my channel. And again, that is going to be on May 17th, the preview and predictions live stream on Facebook.com for Money in the Bank at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That is, the link will be in the description. I will post the link to Wrestling Express in the description, as well as Earl Cole's social media accounts. Now, that's then. That is a week from now. But right now, we have 4 very interesting news, rumors, and reports to dissect. And we're going to start off by talking about the most recent report that just exploded. This whole Lars Sullivan incident. I did not see any of his tweets. I have merely heard. But apparently there's been a lot of reports going around, especially on the top sources, One specifically being cage side seats, and according to cage side seats, WWE was aware of Lars Sullivan's online history before hiring him, and they got this information from Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, and there's no issue for the company because Sullivan apparently already apologized for these comments. Now, I have not seen the comments, nor did I see Sullivan's apology, so I am not too sure what the whole deal is, but if there was comments to be made, then here's the deal. Lars Sullivan, and this happens with a lot of people back then. When people are young, people are immature, they say a lot of things that really should not have been said. It recently happened with Rhea Ripley and how she made a homophobic remark during a live stream where she apparently used the F word, which I'm not going to say. Lars Sullivan could have done the exact same thing in this instance with racial terms or homophobic terms. I am not sure if it was more than that, if it was more than racial, if it was more than homophobia. But regardless, racism, homophobia, and anything in that area, you know for a fact is a highly sensitive topic. There's certain things that you just don't say, or don't joke about, or, you know what I mean. Because you see, like, I get a lot of hate for saying that people that think Raw is good in the position that it's in right now need mental help. Now, obviously, mental help is not the same as racism and homophobia, but at the same point in time, it is somewhat of a sensitive topic, but at the end of the day, if you compare mental health to racism and homophobia, and, which topics are more hypersensitive, it's racism and homophobia. And obviously, we know racism completely inexcusable. Homophobia, inexcusable. Now, I'm not sure if Sullivan really does stand by these issues. I would hope he doesn't. Because, I was actually a fan of Lars Sullivan, and and if this is true about Lars Sullivan, then, I've lost a lot of respect for Lars Sullivan if these accusations are really true. Even if he did apologize, at the same point in time, you can't always be asking for second chances. You really have to get it right the first time. Lars Sullivan and a lot of other young individuals and young wrestlers and young celebrities as a whole, just in general, they really have to be a lot more smarter with what they tweet. Because, put it this way, people rag on me for tweeting all this controversial stuff. I'm not making a living off of this YouTube brand. I'm not. Lars Sullivan, this is his job. Now, apparently, WWE is not taking action because Sullivan already apologized, and Sullivan is quite lucky, I would say, that WWE is not taking action. But at the same point in time, you can't be saying shit like this. You really can't. Now, again, I'm not sure what specifically was said. I'm pretty sure it's going to find its way onto my timeline on social media at some point. But, Sullivan, you can't be doing this, man. You can't be doing this. This right here is your job. This right here is your livelihood. And the backlash that he's been getting because of these comments, it's not very good. It's not very good at all. And people are not very forgiving. People are not very forgiving in today's world. So, Sullivan screwed up. He should not have said these comments. He should not have said these racist comments, these homophobic comments, because now he is in a difficult position in which if WWE decides to start pushing him, they could get a lot of backlash from the fans who are not as forgiving as other fans. Now, if he means it, if he means it, then good for him. But at the same point in time, he kind of fucked himself over. he really did kind of fuck himself over. And if WWE decides to push him, this could be a huge detriment to his push. Even though WWE is not taking action and they don't have an issue because of this, it could become a major issue because of fan backlash. I'm going to transition this over to Earl Cole. What are your thoughts on this story?
First of all, let me just say one thing. As a person who dealt with racism growing up as a teenager and in my adult life, I've been called the N-word many times by people. And I have been, I've been called a dumb N many times in my lifetime. And when I see these things, when I see these posts, and I see people use comments about race and everything like that, it doesn't belong in wrestling.
Exactly.
It doesn't belong in our wrestling community. When you go to an event, when you go to a wrestling event, you see black, you see white, you see Jew, you see gay, you see straight. We're all a community. We are a rainbow of community. And I think for Lars Sullivan to exude these kind of racist taunts like Hulk Hogan did, it's not a good look. And for a company that's to sit there and condones these kind of behaviors when you have a Be a Star campaign, anti-bullying and stuff, that's kind of hypocritical to their statement.
That's why I said he's lucky. He's lucky that the WWE is not taking any action. He's very lucky. But they might have to.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is that you can't stand behind somebody who exudes these kind of thoughts.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that, like I said before, and I say it again, when you go into the arena, you get mixed of people. You get all kinds of mix of people. And what happens when you have to do public appearance? What happens when you got to sign autographs, but you're not going to sign a black child because she's black? Or you can't do that. You just can't do that. That's unacceptable. So to me, I think that if he said these things and he said them, and I haven't read the tweets either, but if he had said them, then some kind of discipline and some kind of punishment should be coming down the highway, because you can't think these thoughts. You know, I remember one time I was listening to your show, and you said that if people like Raw, that they are retarded, and I said, wow. I said, you know, that's a kind of hard thing to say. You know, that's like, you know, there are handicapped people who are wrestling fans and people that listen to you and everything like that. And I had to call you out on it, because the thing is that I wanted to protect you and I wanted to protect your show, and I did not want you to be suspended or anything of that nature, because sometimes we do say things in the heat of the battle and we don't mean it. It's just that we are so passionate that the words have to come out, and sometimes it doesn't roll correctly.
To a certain extent, yeah. To a certain extent, yeah, but, like, you know, there's a difference between my passion for wrestling and Lars Sullivan, because, like, this is, like, political beliefs. I'm not speaking political beliefs.
No, I understand. No, I understand totally. It's just that I was, you know, I had to play, you know, big brother, so to speak. Because,
yeah, I get it.
Like I said before, and I say it again, if he did say it, then some kind of punishment should come down the pike. That's what I think.
So, would you say that WWE may have to take action if the fan backlash becomes too big? Because, like, where do you think he's going? That's what I want to know. Do you think he's set for a major push after Money in the Bank?
I think so. I'm not sure who he would feud with. I would think the best feud would be the monster among men, Braun Strowman.
Well, yeah, but he's on Raw.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand he's on Raw, but I think it would be interesting to see him feud with him. Um, I don't I don't see him feuding with I don't see him feuding with anyone else. I mean, R-Truth. I
That
mean,
would be like
that's
his
not a
first undercard feud, I would assume.
that right. And then after that, I don't know who else you would pair him up with because it would have to make sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, do you think that this fan backlash could very well prevent his push?
Yeah, because like I said, the WWE's fan base is on Twitter. They're the most powerful people on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and if the Twitter universe don't like something, they will bombard WWE with their tweets.
Mm-hmm.
And trust and believe they have in the past.
Yeah.
They have changed a lot of things that the WWE has pushed forward in the fandom.
And this is not a Baron Corbin Kurt Angle issue. This is not Baron Corbin Kurt Angle issue. This is legitimate racism and homophobia. This is completely different.
And like I said before, and I say it again, it doesn't belong in the wrestling community. It doesn't belong. If you believe what you believe, that's fine, but you need to leave that out of the wrestling community.
Be professional.
Yeah, and be professional. Like I said it before, and I say it again. If he did say these things, and we do read the tweets, I'm sure the fans will be hot and bothered by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what his future would hold after that, because if the WWE gets a lot of pressure from the Twitter universe, they're going to have to make a huge decision on his future,
Mm-hmm.
because they had to pull him back, when he was supposed to start in the beginning, and now he's out there, and now you've got this big problem that you need to address.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we address it?
It's a very touchy subject. So we're gonna have to
sore, touchy subject.
We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Anyway, on to our second topic, and this actually is another report on Sasha Banks. According to PW Insider by way of Cage Side Seats, Sasha Banks was listed internally for the European tour, but she did not travel with the Raw roster when they left for Ireland on Tuesday, and she was not at the Belfast show a couple of days ago on Wednesday. This only furthers the theory and possible future report coming that she is gone. She's gone. She wasn't announced for the Money in the Bank ladder match. She's not traveling. She has not been backstage at Raw. And there has been absolutely no other reports of Sasha even contemplating coming back. Literally, I really don't know what else you people need other than to basically confirm that Sasha Banks is gone. And you know what? I am even more ecstatic. I'm even more ecstatic that these reports are coming out, because truthfully, the WWE does not deserve someone like Sasha Banks. WWE needs Sasha Banks more than Sasha Banks needs WWE after everything that they did to that woman. And I already went on a rant. I went on a rant weeks ago on part 2 of a Lightning Flash update. I believe it was at the end of April. And I already went off on a tangent about Sasha Banks. I already ranted about the Iconics and stuff like that. But this only furthers the theory that Sasha's gone. I couldn't be more happy about it. There's really nothing else I can say about this because I already said a lot about this. Earl, Cole, what's your thoughts on this report?
Again, like I said, I talked about Sasha Banks on my show the other day. And I had an interaction with her because I met her in person. She was a little cold to me. I don't know if it was her personality or what. I heard that she can be a diva. At times, she can be a diva. She can be very difficult to work with. I think that Sasha is very talented. And I understand that she wanted more out of her contract. She wanted more from the WWE. And they couldn't give her more. And the problem with the WWE is that when you have good talent, you don't know how to horn them. You don't know how to keep them in house. You don't know how to make them happy. You don't listen to them. You don't give them what they need in order to succeed in the ring. Instead,
it's not just that. It's not just that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's not just that. It's the fact that she was never really truly given the ball to run with, and all of her title reigns on the main roster were pretty much afterthoughts.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I mean, and that's where I was going with that. It sort of like diminishes their star power.
Yes.
When you throw them in things or thrust them in things that really don't work. And whenever a superstar goes to the management and says, "Listen, this is not working," nobody's listening. They think it's their way or the highway. And the thing is that you can't do that with a superstar like Sasha Banks, or even with Braun Strowman is the same thing. You can't. You're diminishing their star power when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that and you water them down, they get frustrated and disgruntled because they don't know anything else to do. So that's why she took her ball and she went home with it. I mean, this situation is a very bad situation. It's a bad look, and they should have worked with her. They should have sat her down in a meeting and find out what her needs are, and not go back on their word if they promised her this or if they promised her that. Sometimes the WWE can be very hypocritical.
Extremely.
To saying they can be extremely hypocritical when it comes to certain things, and they don't stand for what they mean, and people suffer. Their talent suffers, and that's why people are disgruntled.
And it's not just Sasha. This goes back to the Revival.
No.
This goes back to Gallows and Anderson. This goes back to Mike Kanellis as well, who supposedly requested his release back in January. Luke Harper. The list goes on and on. So,
yes.
We're going to see how that plays out. You think Sasha Banks is going to AEW?
Well, if her contract expires, see what the WWE is doing now is they're having what I like to call panic at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by panic at the table, meaning that when superstars come to management and they said, "Listen, I'm not happy here, I want my release," they automatically go to their lawyers or whatever and they fix their expired contract and extend it a little more and extend it a little bit more so that this way they keep them in-house and they don't go to any other organization.
That pisses me off.
Oh, yeah, well, this is their business practice and this is their new business model. They did it with Luke Harper. They're doing it with the Revival. They go and they fix the contract so that this way it's extended. So without their knowledge, by the way, this is not their agreement. This is without their knowledge. So when they think that they're leaving the company and they said, "Okay, well my contract's over, I'm out of here." No. Wait a second. We extended your contract, so now you're stuck here. So now you got to do what they say, and you're under their thumb, and they're under their rules. So, this is probably what I think is going to happen with Sasha. I think they're going to extend her contract without her knowledge, and she thinks she can talk to any organization, but she can't because she's going to get an extension, and she has to perform under that extension.
It's it really is piss poor. It really is piss poor operating system and pure pettiness by a $1 billion company. It really is. Speaking of pettiness, Lio Rush. Everyone, this Lio Rush storyline has had report after report after report after report, just like the Sasha Banks storyline did. The Insider also reported that Lio Rush was not backstage at Raw this week, and he's not listed on the European tour. Now, there's been reports going around that Lio Rush may never wrestle for the main roster again. Lio Rush was supposedly told WWE to release him after he rejected a 5-year deal and asked for double. Supposedly, he's being sent down to NXT. There was an original report that he had backstage heat because he was bringing his wife backstage, and Finn Balor got into an altercation with them, and Lio Rush was being cocky. Lio Rush was interviewed by Fightful, supposedly denied that story, said that he wasn't getting paid enough, and he wasn't being booked in meet and greets and autograph signings with Bobby Lashley when they had that partnership, and it was hard for him to book his own hotels 5 days a week. Then he said that WWE made him get water for the talent and carry bags, and it didn't look good on the company's behalf. It's just been one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. It's been very hard to keep up with, and a lot of people have already addressed this situation, and I'm going to talk about this as well. Now, I'm not sure if he's being sent back down to NXT or if he's actually being released. The report from the Insider about how he wasn't backstage at Raw and he's not listed for the European tour, it could mean either or. Now, I will start by saying this. I have no problem with Lio Rush wanting to provide a better life for himself and believing in himself and being a guy that's going to speak up against the BS if he is feeling that he's being mistreated. But here's the deal. A lot of people are rubbed by Lio Rush the wrong way because of his arrogance and his cockiness and the fact that he thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. A lot of young talent goes through that. Now, supposedly, he came into the WWE with that mentality, but the main roster made it worse. The main roster made it worse because there's no sense of respect and morale backstage. There's no sense of respect and morale backstage under WWE management. The locker room etiquette is really made by the superstars because Vince McMahon does not respect anyone. Vince McMahon and his mentality that he has sprinkled all over WWE management, it's like you're always walking on eggshells. You're always walking on eggshells. You're always in a position where someone's always out to get you. It's like a snake pit. It's like a fucking snake pit. He was put on 205 Live, where Triple H operates. He wasn't even given a run in NXT, which I don't really mind, but put on 205 Live, Triple H was operating 205 Live. Triple H had a different mentality. He obviously has a different mentality than Vince McMahon. Clearly, he could have told Lio Rush a little something more about respect. But then Lio Rush was put on the main roster with Bobby Lashley, and he was given all these opportunities. Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush realistically should have never been a unit because Bobby Lashley was a complete flop on the main roster. Lio Rush was always the star of that group. And the fact that WWE just had no respect for their superstars, and they're picking out Lio Rush. You shouldn't be picking out superstars to carry bags or get water for the other superstars. You should have separate employees to do that, or there should just be a case full of water for the superstars to go and grab. No one should be anyone's personal assistant. And because of that, because of the lack of respect, Lio Rush's ego kind of grew, as well as his frustrations with the company. And I don't know how true the turning down of a 5-year deal is and asking for double. Now, I don't mind Lio Rush looking out for himself and wanting to provide a better life for his wife and his 2 children. But at the same time, he really didn't do himself any favors when he came into the WWE with this cocky mentality. And WWE did not do any favors by using Lio Rush to try and help get Bobby Lashley over because they couldn't do it. And then WWE and their lack of respect and morality backstage only added fuel to the fire. It only added fuel to the fire, and it made the entire situation worse. Talking with a lisp there. Both parties in this instance, neither are right. Both parties in this instance are equally at fault. WWE with their lack of respect and moral conduct, and the fact that their laziness just to put Lio Rush on the main roster. This kid who is just coming up, and he's a very talented kid. I would love to see Lio Rush in a prime position in the mid-card role on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown as an Intercontinental or United States Champion, but he should have paid his dues more in either NXT or 205 Live, just like Cedric did, just like Mustafa did, just like Buddy Murphy did on 205 Live and NXT, just like the NXT guys did. And Triple H should have molded Lio Rush, so to speak, into a more mature individual, so that way he would have known how to properly conduct himself in this fucking snake pit that is the main roster. I don't know where Lio Rush ends up. I truthfully do not know where Lio Rush ends up. He could be released. He could get sent back down to NXT. But I'm going to hand this over to Earl Cole because I want to know if you know anything more on this situation. Is he really being sent back down to NXT as we speak?
Okay. Let me just say one thing, and I'm going to bring out 4 points. First of all, I do agree with your assessment. What you just said about Lio Rush. First of all, let me just say one thing. First of all, when he started in 205 Live, he really didn't have that many matches. Okay, that was one thing that kind of turned the devil horn up. Mm-hmm. Another thing is that when he was transformed into the main roster on Raw and he was put with Bobby Lashley, first of all, the two of them are awkwardly not a match. Mm-hmm. First of all, I don't know whose idea was to put these two together, but it was not a good match. What they should have done was if they wanted to bring him up and on the main roster, they should have had him do a singles thing where he would have had matches that made sense. They could have did a mid-card feud. They could have done so many things because he's very talented in the ring. Another thing that I heard, that he was given several different ideas on his character, and he turned them all down. And he thought that he could write his own destiny and his own persona. And that did not work out well for him because he rubbed the management the wrong way. They don't like people who come in and they think that they know everything and they know it all. And, nobody wants to work with a know-it-all. So,
well, unless, of course, you're working with me. I just had to sneak that one in there.
Yeah, I knew. I was waiting for the Nile of the river to flow down the other way. But in any event, it was inevitable that this Lio Rush thing was going to happen. Now, I read the story about how he debunked the story about his wife and everything else. But then, as I went on about the story, it kept getting true because there was another story in the Bleacher Report that says that it is true. His wife did come to several of the tapings, and she was backstage, and they did not like it. They spoke to him in the office about it. They said, listen, we can't have her here because I guess they were feared she might leak something on the internet. She might have seen something she wasn't supposed to see. And I guess that's why they were in a tizzy with her being there, because he kept bringing her there and bringing her there, and they didn't care for it. Vince didn't care for it. And, but again, he was offered, like you said, a lucrative contract and different ideas on his character, and he turned them all down. So my thing is that now he's in limbo, because now they put him on NXT. I think I saw him once or twice on NXT. I haven't seen him after that.
Yeah, he got moved to 205 Live after that.
Yeah. So then you see, the thing is that they're pulling him in all different directions. They want him here, they want him there, they want him here, they want him. So they don't know what to do with him. So that gets frustrating to him as a talent, because it's like, well, what show do you want me to be on? Do you want me to be on NXT, or do you want me to be on 205 Live? Is it Eggs or Young Ones? Which one do you want? And they couldn't make up their mind about what they were going to do with him. So when you get pulled in different directions, you get frustrated. Because you get frustrated because you don't have enough match time. You don't have enough to hone your craft. You don't have enough time to do this, because maybe one day he'll go to NXT, he'll have a match, and then management comes to him and says, okay, well, you did your match in NXT, so now you're going to go back to 205 Live, and you're going to have this match. So it gets frustrating, because it's either you want me here, or you want me there. I can't be in two places at once. So I think that's where his ego came out, and that's where his cockiness came out, and that's where his frustration, like you said, with the company. And I think eventually, like I said before, and I say it again, he wants his release from the company. But like I said to you before, just like Sasha Banks, they will sneakily put an extension on his contract when he doesn't know it, and he won't be able to leave. He'll be under their thumb, just like all of the other disgruntled talent that they have.
I don't really know. I don't really know. I don't even know anymore, man. It really is ridiculous. And the only reason why they're extending all their contracts is because of AEW, because they don't want them to go somewhere else and prove WWE wrong. And WWE is just as much at fault as Leo Rush here.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said before, the management is at fault, because, like I said before, and I say it again, they were pulling him in two different directions, and that's not how you do business. You either take, now, let's say you were my superstar, and you were my wrestler, I'm going to treat you with respect, because you are an athlete, and you are a talent.
Exactly.
And the thing is that I want you to be on a show where you can grow, where you can learn, and you could, do things. Maybe you're going to be there a year, maybe you'll be there 2 years, maybe 3 years. And then after that, I can put you on another show and display your talent. But the WWE doesn't do that. They just mix them up all together. They don't know what to do with them. They just throw their hands up in the air, throw the superstars up in the air like dice, and then they just roll with it. And that's not how you do business. That's disrespectful of the talent. You're diminishing their star power. You're diminishing their athleticism, and you're just watering them down like a dead plant.
And then people wonder why the company's failing at this moment.
Right.
We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. Now, is he currently down in NXT right now, or do you think that he's on his way to being released, or do you think they'll feature him on NXT?
Like I said a second ago, I did see him on 2 NXT. I believe he was on 2 NXT tapes.
Yeah, but that was years ago. I'm talking about recently.
I haven't seen him do anything recently, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen him anywhere. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I know he was backstage at Raw after WrestleMania. I know that he was there. They said he was there, but I don't know exactly what they're going to do with him. I don't know. Like I said before, and I said, yeah, he could ask for his release, but the WWE right now is in very desperation mode. They're very desperate. They do not want their talent flying out the door. So what they're doing right now is they're going behind the talent's back and they're extending their contract so that they can keep them in the house, keep them under their thumb, and let them control them. So that's what they're doing now.
Everything's like a huge question mark now.
Yes.
And that brings us to our final report, and this is even more disgusting. This just proves to you how disgusting and petty WWE really is. Dave Meltzer reported that the goal with what WWE is doing with the Revival right now is to devalue them as much as possible before they leave. And their contracts aren't up until the beginning of 2020. Think about that. Devalue. Devalue the Revival because they want them to be as worthless as possible before they leave and they go sign with AEW. Because there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to sign with AEW as soon as they leave that company. This is absolutely pathetic. This is absolutely fucking pathetic. Literally, they merely gave the Revival the titles to shut them up just to get them to sign a new contract. They did the same thing with the Usos, and the Usos took the bait. The Usos, the same team that the Revival is feuding with right now, the Usos took the bait, and WWE gave the Usos the SmackDown Tag Team titles because of AEW to get them to sign a new 5-year deal, which they did, and then days after WrestleMania, they lost the titles to the Hardy Boys. They did the same thing with the Revival. They tried to get them to sign a new deal. They lost the titles to Hawkins and Ryder. They refused the 5-year deal. Now, this is punishment. This is punishment out of pettiness. Out of fucking pettiness by WWE just because the Revival didn't sign a new deal. This is pettiness by a billion-dollar company. A billion-dollar company. This is all furthermore reason why Vince McMahon needs to go. But I'm telling you right now, I am hoping and praying to God that this is going to cause the Revival to walk. I hope they pull a Neville. Pull a Neville, just like Neville did. Pull a Sasha Banks and sit it out. Sit it out, and when the time comes, get back into it, go to AEW, and put on fucking classics and do what you love with the tag teams of AEW like the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. The Revival don't deserve this shit. All because WWE does not want to put any effort into tag team wrestling, doesn't want to put any effort into the Revival, doesn't want to put any effort into anything that they don't deem important. And I said this before. WWE is selective with the things that they deem important. They pick out 1, 2, 3 things that they see as important, and then they seemingly forget about everything else. That's why there's no undercard storylines and feuds that are good on Raw or SmackDown. That's why everything just feels flat and ordinary and lackluster and just completely irrelevant. Same thing with the Revival. WWE selective with what they deem important. Meanwhile, Triple H and what Triple H has done, even with 205 Live, the guy made me care about Humberto Carrillo, who was pretty much a nobody, and Humberto Carrillo is being booked better on 205 Live than the Revival are being booked better on Monday Night Raw. I really don't know what else to tell you about that. This is just absolutely pathetic, and I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my fucking voice yelling and talking about this shit. I am sick and tired of hearing about this and complaining and reiterating and repeating the same thing over and over again. And WWE just continues to do the same thing and reiterates and repeats the same thing over and over again without actual improvement because they're fucking stubborn and ignorant. I'm going to transfer this over to you, Earl, before I fucking pop a blood vessel in my brain. I want you to close this one out.
Okay. I spoke about this on my show this past Tuesday with my guest. And I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. If you did not see my show, if you didn't listen to it, I urge you to listen to it because it's on the Wrestling Express.
Wrestling Express Facebook group will be in the description.
Yes. I spoke about this with John Clark. And him and I sat down and we were talking about this Uso segment. First of all, let me just say this because I'm angry as much as you are about this. Now let me just see if I can get this correctly. You have the Usos, who are the SmackDown former SmackDown Tag Team Champions, who were dominant on SmackDown in a buffoonery comedic segment. Instead of you sitting there and making it a triple threat tag team match for a future title opportunity at the Raw Tag Team Champions, you wasted an hour with this Uso itching cream, Uso hot, Uso whatever the crap that was, whatever the name of it was.
Fucking Usi hot.
Usi hot. You wasted an opportunity at a triple threat match with the Good Brothers in the ring with the Revival and the Usos, which would have been a classic triple threat match. But instead, you made them do the most buffoonery thing. First of all, it wasn't rehearsed correctly. That was A. And B, it was stupid. It was the most dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I think what happened is the Revival, the WWE made a big mistake with the Revival. They should have never have left NXT. Because, you see, the thing is they were very happy with Triple H because Triple H treats his talent with respect. Because he is a talent. You understand? So when they brought them up to the main roster, it was a huge mistake. Because they put them in matches that A, didn't make sense, B, it had no relevancy to it, and C, why would you give them the tag team belts and then strip them of it at WrestleMania? Did that make sense?
And you know why they did it? You know why they did it? Hawkins and Ryder, two men as well, who haven't been utilized, and WWE is in fear that they are unhappy as well, and they want to jump shift as well. It's the same thing. They did the same thing with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, they did not express that they were unhappy, but they were booked like shit in 2017 and 2018. And then AEW gets announced, and now they're both champions and being booked like stars. It's not a coincidence.
No, and again, I can't agree. I can't argue with that assessment. And like I said before, and I say it again, it was on my show, and I said to myself, I said, now you had an opportunity to get a future number one contender to the tag team belts.
Something of substance.
Yeah. And instead, you wasted an hour on this buffoonery. And let me tell you something, to diminish them like that is disgusting. It's childish. It's poor business practice.
It's not even entertaining.
It's not even entertaining. And the thing is that I would have spoken to the Revival backstage. I would have had them sat down and I said, look, gentlemen, listen, I understand you're not happy. What can we do to work this out? That's what I would have done. But I'm not going to take my talent and put them in the ring and make fun of them. The Revival is a good tag team. They had stellar matches when they were in NXT.
Even on the main roster, they've had stellar matches.
Yes. I mean, they've had matches where my mind was blown. But now you're sitting up there and make them do these dumb comedic segments, Usi hot, and all of this stuff. Now what's next? What are you going to have them come out on stage in clown outfits and entertain the children in the audience? Is that what you're going to?
Don't give them any ideas. Don't give him any ideas.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just at my wit's end with this because, I understand you're disgruntled, but, to do that to them and to devaluate them as you are doing is childish. It's really childish. It's poor business practice. You don't do that. What company does that? Like Jim Ross says, he would never treat his talent like that. He would never.
And Jim Ross said WWE is basically offering $500,000 contracts for people to sit around and do nothing.
Right.
That's the problem.
That's why he signed with AEW.
There's no pettiness in AEW.
No. And Ross is the main consultant of that organization, and I have a feeling that they're going to be just fine. None of the talent will be walking out on them because Ross is in charge.
At this rate, it really does piss me off. And, again, I'm not going to be surprised if the Revival pull a Neville or pull a Sasha Banks. The Revival are on their way out. If the Revival stay, I'm going to be legit shocked and a bit disappointed in the Revival. Because I don't understand how they could just expend their dignity over money. Money's not everything. Dignity and the passion that you have for a business is worth much more. The respect that you gain and the respect that you have for yourself and the respect that you gain by your peers by doing what you do, much more important than a few extra bucks. Much more important.
Yeah, well, it's your pride.
Exactly.
It's your pride. It's your dignity. It's your self-worth that's on the line here. You don't want to be in front of your family and friends and you're being humiliated in front of 60 million people on television. People are watching. I mean, the Revival is a good tag team. They have great athleticism. And you are just watering it down by putting them in these comedic, uninflavored, uninspired spots. And that's not fair to them. That is not fair to them at all. And that's the issue.
It's going to be the deciding factor when they eventually depart.
And WWE has nobody to blame but themselves.
Exactly. And if you actually, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, they don't have anything to, they just shoot themselves in the foot. They always screwing the pooch on so many different things, and opportunities have slipped through their fingers.
Time after time.
And they do not do things very well. They don't execute it well. There are some things they do well, and then there are some things they don't.
I think we've touched upon this enough, but let's end this by saying Vince needs to go. And if you actually find anything entertaining about what happened with the Revival, I would highly encourage you to seek mental help. That's not entertaining. If you find that entertaining, your standards must be very, very low. And I don't have any respect for you in that department. I'm sorry, I don't.
No, I didn't find it entertaining.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking to the people in general. I'm talking to the camera.
No, I know, I understand. No, I'm right there with you. And along with everyone else, nobody found that entertaining. I didn't find it one deeming quality entertaining. I didn't even find it funny. I didn't even know where they were going with this segment. I really didn't. And I was pissed off because I said, you have some talent in the ring and you're wasting it on this crap instead of doing a match.
I don't know what else to say. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning into this video, of course. A couple things. Follow me on Instagram at @VDJStorms. Follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Give this video a thumbs up. We're going to try and get this video to 20 thumbs up. I mean, we got fucking Earl Cole. So if this video is not at 20 thumbs up, you're going to be hearing from me real soon. If you're going to give me a thumbs down, there you go. Also, comment. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. What are your thoughts on the stories? Hit that subscribe button as well. We are on the road to 1,000 fucking subscribers as I am approaching 2 years on YouTube. July 16th will be 2 years. Thank you very much. Keep up the grind, ladies and gentlemen. Help me get to 1,000 subs. Hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you'll know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Next week, of course, will be the Lightning Flash update, parts 1 and 2. We are also, me and Thunder, we're going to address YouTube discontinuing the video credits. We will make a special announcement. May 17th, of course, at 5 p.m. on Facebook.com, on the Wrestling Express Facebook group page. It is going to be me and Earl Cole, predictions for Money in the Bank, and then I'm doing a rundown for Money in the Bank by myself on May 18th. May 18th is also Destined for Greatness at Lodi High School, presented by Ace Pro Wrestling. The signings are from 5 to 7 p.m. The show's from 7 to 11 p.m. I'm going to try and get my tickets. 3 Rescue Mania guys. It's going to be, Mario Baccara, Darius Carter, and Mike Orlando. Triple threat action in the main event of Destined for Greatness. I'm going to see if I can book my tickets. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the door at Lodi High School in Lodi, New Jersey. Signings from 5 to 7 p.m. Show from 7 to 11. And then May 19th, of course, is the Wrestling Express meetup at Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey. I'm going to be there. Tommy McGrogan's going to be there. Glenn Davidson's going to be there. All the members of Wrestling Express are going to be there. And you can come hang out free of charge, talk business, collaborate with members of Wrestling Express, talk collaboration business with me. You can see me cut a promo on the Facebook live stream that Tommy McGrogan does, because why the fuck not? Earl Cole, where can we find you on social media before we close this out?
Okay, so guys, before we go, I just want to remind you again, DJ Storms and I will be collaborating together on Friday, May 17th. Please tune in, because like I said, it's going to be a barn burner of a conversation. We are going to sit down and we're going to break down everything that you need to know about Money in the Bank. My show will return this next Tuesday, and we will be live on the Wrestling Express page. Now, in social media, you can always find me on social media at Twitter, WWE Earl C. That's WWE Earl C on Twitter. Instagram, you can find me on EarlC99, or you can friend me on Facebook. You can always look me up, and I welcome all my friends. As I said before, and I say it again, folks, it has been an absolute pleasure working with DJ Storms, one of the most passionate minds in the business. He has a head for knowledge, very passionate about the community. He speaks on it. And it has been a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to getting him in my ring on the May 17th. We are going to have so much fun. Again, folks, don't forget, Money in the Bank, Pub 46. We will be all live. I'm going to be live from Hartford, Connecticut.
He's going to Money in the Bank.
After 10 years hiatus, I return to Hartford. And it's going to be a triumphant return for me to go back to Hartford. I have a very spot in my heart for Hartford, and it's going to be a lot of fun when I'm going to be live, because I'll be live from my seat, and I will be inside. I'll give you an inside scoop of what is going on inside the Hartford Civic Center, or actually the XL Center. It's no longer called the Hartford Civic Center. But in any event, folks, it has been a pleasure to do this video. I wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day weekend. To all the moms out there, you all raised some great children, and I have to tell you something from the bottom of my heart, Mr. DJ Storm. You are, without a doubt, the legit boss. You are the it man, and I wish you good luck in school, wish you good luck in life. And like I say, keep on doing what you're doing. You got a good head on your shoulders, and you're going places, my friend. And I will see you again on May 17th.
Earl Cole, I cannot thank you enough. You are without a doubt one of the most brilliant minds in the wrestling community. One of the best DJ Storms Posse members that I think I have ever come across in my entire life. I could not be more proud to have Earl Cole on my show as a fan, as a friend, and as a Wrestling Express group member. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. He is the walking, talking wrestling dictionary on the planet, Mr. Earl Cole. This has been the Lightning Flash Update, and we will catch you next week for the Lightning Flash Updates Part 1 and 2 of next week, and the preview and predictions live stream on Facebook for Money in the Bank.